Welcome to Be Smart Maxx, where books turn into power and knowledge becomes success. Subscribe and grow with us.
Hi, I am Lexi.
Hello, I am Alex.
And welcome.
This is Be Smart Maxx.
Please subscribe our channel and comment below on what topic you want to listen to our next podcast.
So to start our show today, I have a confession to make.
Oh, a confession.
Yeah. I was looking at my bookshelf this morning and I felt a little guilty.
Guilty? Why would a bookshelf make you feel guilty?
Well, I saw, 3 different books on how to learn Spanish.
Okay.
And I saw a yoga mat that I'm pretty sure still has the plastic wrapper on it. Or a really nice, expensive journal I bought to, start writing my life story.
And let me guess, you haven't started any of them.
Not one. 0. The books are unread, the mat is unused, the journal's totally empty.
Wow.
And it just hit me. I am really good at starting the dream, buying the things for the dream.
And not so good at the actual doing.
Exactly. I'm terrible at it.
You're definitely not alone there. I think almost everyone listening can relate to that.
It's a very human thing, right?
It is. We have big ambitions. We want to do these huge things. But we're also, sometimes we're just lazy.
Yes. We want the result. I want to speak Spanish, but I don't really want to sit down and study verbs for an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels like there's this huge gap. On one side, you have, I want to do this.
And on the other, you have, I am actually doing this.
We get stuck right in the middle of that gap.
That is exactly what we are going to unpack today. Why do we get stuck? And, more importantly, how do we get moving?
And to help us, we have a really fascinating source. We're doing a deep dive into a samurai lesson from the channel Code and Obscure.
It's a great video. The title is, If You're Ambitious But Lazy, Watch This Samurai Lesson.
I feel like that title was written just for me. Ambitious but lazy. That's my entire personality.
It does call you out, doesn't it? But this isn't just about feeling bad about it.
Okay.
It turns out that having all this ambition without taking any action is, it's actually dangerous.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty serious.
It is. It's dangerous for your mind. Because if you just dream but you never do anything, you stop trusting yourself.
Oh, I see.
So, our mission today is to figure this out. We're going to look at how ancient Japanese warriors, the samurai, fixed this problem.
And they used a method called Kaizen.
Kaizen, that's the one.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. The source starts with a story, right? About a character named Yuki.
Yes, Yuki. He lived in feudal Japan, so hundreds of years ago. But honestly, Yuki feels like he could be alive today. He's what we'd call the dreamer.
So tell me about Yuki. Was he a bad guy?
No, not at all. The story says he was a good young man with really high standards. He wanted to be the greatest warrior in the entire land.
So he was motivated. He had a clear goal.
He had strong ambition. He truly believed he was going to become a legend. And he spent a lot of time preparing.
Preparing how? Like, was he out there swinging a sword, running up mountains?
No, and that's the key part. He was inside, in his room. He was reading scrolls about famous battles, looking at maps, and just visualizing himself winning. He would talk about it for hours.
I definitely know people like that. They're always saying, next year I'm going to start a business, or I'm about to get in the best shape of my life.
That was Yuki. I will master the longsword. I will bring honor to my family. He talked about it all the time.
But talking is the easy part.
Exactly. When the sun came up and it was actually time to train, to put on the heavy armor and sweat, Yuki always had an excuse.
What kind of excuses does a samurai make?
Very familiar ones. The source actually lists them. He'd say things like, the weather is not right.
Ah, the weather. The classic. It's too hot, or it's too cold, or it looks like it might rain.
Right. Or he'd say, I'm not feeling so well today. I'm a little tired. I should rest so I can have a better training session tomorrow.
That's such a trap.
Oh.
I'll do it tomorrow because tomorrow I'll be perfectly ready.
And maybe the most dangerous one of all, I just need to plan a little bit more.
Oh, that's the one that gets me. I can't start learning Spanish until I read one more book about grammar.
Right. I can't start writing until I buy the perfect pen.
It feels like you're working. That's why it's so tricky. Reading the book feels productive.
But you're just stalling. You're delaying.
So what ended up happening to Yuki?
Well, years went by. Yuki got older. And while he was in his room, perfecting his master plan.
The other warriors were outside?
The younger ones were outside. The ones who didn't have these big, complicated plans, they just showed up every day.
They did the messy work.
They practiced in the rain when they were tired. And they got better.
They must have become much better.
They surpassed him. They became the great warriors that Yuki only dreamed of being.
Yuki realized a painful truth.
A very painful truth. He realized that his big dreams hadn't made him strong.
They actually made him weaker.
Weaker. Because he fell in love with the idea of being a warrior, and he never actually became one.
That's actually really sad. To spend your whole life dreaming about a life you never live.
It is. But the source explains why it happens. There's a psychological reason for it, a brain trick.
A trick in our own brains. Tell me more.
Okay, so when Yuki would sit around telling his friends about his grand plans,
Yeah.
his brain would release a little bit of a chemical called dopamine.
Dopamine. That's the one that makes us feel happy, right?
Yeah.
The reward chemical.
Yes. But here's the problem. Your brain isn't very good at telling the difference between talking about a goal and actually achieving a goal.
Wait, really? So if I say out loud, I'm going to run a marathon, my brain thinks I already did it.
A little bit, yeah. You get a small hit of that satisfaction right away. You feel proud just for saying it.
So talking creates a false reward. It's like getting paid before you even do the job.
Exactly. And if you get paid before you do the job, what's your motivation to actually do the hard work?
You already get the good feeling. You lose the drive.
That makes so much sense. That's why I feel so good when I buy the Spanish book, but then I never open it. Buying it gave me the feeling of being smart.
There's a very powerful sentence in the source about this. I wrote it down.
Oh, it is.
It says, preparation without practice is disguised procrastination.
Disguise procrastination. Let's break that down.
Usually we think procrastination is just being lazy, right? Playing video games or sleeping on the couch.
Just wasting time.
But this is saying that planning can also be procrastination. It's just wearing a mask. It looks like you're working hard.
Yuki felt busy reading all his scrolls, but really he was just hiding.
Hiding from the actual hard work.
He was using preparation as a shield. See, if you never actually go out and fight, you can never lose. Your perfect dream stays safe inside your head.
But you also never win. The source says, dreams without action quietly waste time. And time, once lost, can never be reclaimed.
It's a quiet theft. You don't even realize it's happening until you wake up and 10 years have gone by.
Okay, that is terrifying. I do not want to be Yuki. So what is the solution here?
The solution comes from a true legend. The source introduces us to Miyamoto Musashi.
I've heard that name. He's like the most famous samurai in all of history.
The greatest. He supposedly never lost a single duel, and people think he was just, born special, that he never felt lazy.
But the source says that's not true.
Correct. Musashi was human. He understood laziness. He just had a better system to beat it.
What was his system? Did he just yell at himself in a mirror?
No, nothing like that. He didn't rely on getting inspired or hyped up. He focused on what the source calls the quiet rhythm of repetition.
Repetition. Just doing something over and over again.
And this brings us to the main idea of our deep dive today, Kaizen.
Kaizen.
Specifically, the phrase Kaizen no Mi.
Kaizen no Mi. Okay, for our listeners, what does that mean in simple English?
It translates to the way of small improvements.
Small improvements.
Yeah.
That sounds surprisingly easy. Shouldn't it be the way of massive, huge effort?
That's what we think. But that is the trap. The source uses a really great analogy. Imagine you're standing at the bottom of a huge mountain.
Okay, I'm picturing it. The peak is way up in the clouds. It looks impossible.
Right. If you just stare at the very top, how do you feel?
I feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I feel like it's impossible. I feel like I should just go back to bed.
Exactly. That's Yuki's problem.
Mm.
He was staring at greatness, and it was just too big. So Kaizen says, stop looking at the peak.
So where do I look?
Look down at your feet. And just ask yourself, can you take one single step?
One step. Yeah, of course. Anyone can take one step.
That's the entire secret. You just take one step,
Yeah.
and then you take another. It's not about how big the step is. It's just about not stopping.
So the samurai understood that tiny things, when you repeat them, can become massive.
And there's a perfect story in the source about a student that illustrates this. I love this story.
Yes, the lazy student. What did he do?
So there was this one student, and he knew he wasn't the strongest. He couldn't do the really hard full workout that the other samurai were doing.
So he was honest with himself.
Very honest. But he didn't quit. He made a little deal with himself. He decided he would practice just one sword form every morning. Just one single movement.
One swing. That would take, what, maybe 10 seconds?
Maybe even less. And of course, his friends all laughed at him.
Of course they did. They probably said, why even bother? That's useless.
They mocked him. They said, you're wasting your time. That's way too small to matter.
That's the hard part, isn't it? The fear of looking silly. It feels embarrassing to say, I'm just going to go to the gym for 5 minutes.
It hurts your ego. But listen to what happened. Because the task was so small, just one form, he had no excuse to skip it.
Right. It's hard to make an excuse for 10 seconds of work.
Exactly. So he did it every single day. Rain, shine, sick, healthy. He always did his one form.
And what happened over time?
That one single movement became automatic. It moved from his brain deep into his muscles. He built a solid foundation.
And what about his friends who were laughing at him?
His friends were always waiting for the perfect day to do the perfect workout.
So they were inconsistent.
Very inconsistent. So 6 months later, the lazy student had completely mastered that one form. He was strong. He was ready for the next step. His friends were still at the very beginning.
Wow. So he succeeded because he aimed lower.
He aimed lower in the short term so that he could reach much higher in the long term. A small step is powerful because you actually do it.
And a big plan is weak because you never even start it.
This connects to another huge idea in the source. It's called the myth of motivation.
Oh, the myth of motivation. This part really changed how I think about my own life.
Me too. Usually I think the order is, first, I get motivated. Then I will take action.
Right. You wait to feel it. You want to feel energetic before you go for a run.
I treat motivation like it's gasoline for a car. I think I need the gas before I can start driving.
But the source says that it's completely backward. Motivation isn't the fuel.
It's the exhaust.
Wait, the exhaust. That comes out after the car is already moving.
Exactly. The source has this beautiful phrase. It says, motivation is the flame that follows the action.
The flame that follows the action. I like that.
Think about lighting a campfire. You don't sit in front of a pile of wood and just wait for a fire to magically appear.
No. You have to strike a match.
And striking the match, that's the action. The fire, that's the motivation. You have to act before you can feel the heat.
So if I'm sitting on my couch waiting to feel like working, I'm waiting for a fire without a spark.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You have to force that first action, even if you don't want to.
The source also uses that other analogy, the one about the weather.
Yes. It says waiting for motivation is like waiting for perfect weather before starting a journey.
And if you wait for perfect weather, you never leave your house.
Imagine two travelers. One is waiting for a perfectly sunny day with no wind.
Okay.
The other just puts on a raincoat and starts walking.
The one in the raincoat is going to get to the destination. The other one is still sitting on their porch.
And here's the magic. Usually, once you start walking, the rain doesn't feel so bad. Or maybe the sun comes out later.
But you're already moving. It's about momentum.
Momentum. It's like a heavy stone wheel. Pushing it from a complete stop is really, really hard.
Yeah, that first push takes all your energy.
But once that wheel is rolling, it takes almost no effort to keep it going. It creates its own energy.
So that one sword form is just that first difficult push.
Yes, action creates energy. We often think, I'm too tired to do this. But the samurai perspective is, you are tired because you are not doing this.
That's a huge shift in thinking. Yeah. Acting gives you energy.
It breaks the paralysis. And once you break that paralysis, you don't need motivation anymore. You have something stronger.
You have discipline.
Discipline. And I know that's a heavy word. It sounds like punishment, like a teacher yelling.
It does sound really strict.
But the samurai saw discipline as a form of freedom.
Freedom. How is discipline freedom?
Because it frees you from your own moods. There's a quote in the source from a great teacher, Yagyu Munenori.
What did he say?
He said, "The sword that waits for perfect conditions never leaves its sheath."
The sheath is the cover for the sword, right?
Exactly. So if you keep your sword covered until everything is perfect, you'll never use it. It's just a decoration.
So what is real strength then? It's not about feeling confident and happy all the time.
No. The samurai said true strength is not doing things only when you feel good.
True strength is saying, I will do this whether I feel like it or not.
That is the key. I will do this whether I feel like it or not.
It's about separating your actions from your feelings.
And the source gives us a kind of mantra for this, a sentence to say to yourself.
What's the mantra?
I am not controlled by my feelings. I am guided by my commitments.
I am guided by my commitments. So if I promised myself I would study English for just 10 minutes.
You do it. It doesn't matter if you feel sad that day. It doesn't matter if you feel tired. It doesn't matter if you feel bored.
The commitment is the boss, not the feeling.
That's so profound because our emotions change all the time, like the weather.
Yeah, clouds come and they go.
But the mountain stays. Your habits, your commitments, they are the mountain. That's how the samurai became masters. It wasn't magic.
It was just the discipline of taking small steps every single day.
Regardless of the internal weather.
You know, This whole conversation really changes how I see laziness.
Yeah.
I used to think it was just enjoying doing nothing.
But it's not really enjoyment, is it?
No. The way we're describing it, laziness is actually a form of fear. Fear of starting.
And the cure isn't to suddenly become some kind of superhero. The cure is Kaizen.
Lower the bar. Make the first step so small you can't possibly say no. Don't look at the whole mountain. Just look at your feet.
I feel like we've covered a lot of ground. Maybe we should try to summarize this for everyone listening.
Good idea. So we started with Yuki.
Yuki, the dreamer. He failed because he got addicted to planning. He let his own ambition become a trap.
Then we learned the solution. Kaizen.
The way of small improvements. The samurai succeeded because they focused on small, consistent steps, like the student with his one sword form.
We also destroyed the myth of motivation.
Stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel perfectly ready. Action has to come first.
Motivation is the flame that follows the action.
You have to be the one to strike the match.
And finally, we talked about true discipline. It's not about ignoring your feelings.
It's about not letting them be the boss of you. I am guided by my commitments. Trust your system, not your mood.
You know, thinking about my bookshelf, I think I'm going to ignore the big Spanish course today.
Are you giving up?
No, I'm going to use Kaizen. I'm just going to read one page of the book. Just one.
That is the perfect way to start. Just one page. And tomorrow, maybe another one.
Before we sign off, we want to leave all of you with a final question. Something to think about.
Based on everything we've talked about, ask yourself this. If you stopped talking about your big goals today, completely stopped.
And instead, you just did one small thing to reach them. Where would you be in a year?
Just one small thing. One new English word. One push-up. One sentence written in a journal.
Imagine the result of doing that for 365 days versus 365 days of just planning.
It's a very powerful thought.
Thank you all so much for listening to this deep dive into the samurai mind.
We really hope this helps you fight that feeling of laziness and finally start your journey.
This has been Be Smart Max. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.